Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are doing something very practical. We are going to take ETCA and apply it to four basic maneuvers, which are straight and lever turns, climbs, and descents. And we are going to combine that with outside visual references and your number one reference point. Well, the number one reference point might sound unfamiliar to you now, but don't worry. I will explain exactly what that is today. So the goal is simple, just to help you build a strong outside attitude picture instead of rely only on the instruments. Alright, then let's get started. So before we jump in, here's a quick reminder. This lesson builds directly on the ETCA framework from the previous video. So if ETCA still feels unclear, go watch that first, please. Because today we are not learning the ETCA from scratch. I will briefly review it, but not in as much in detail as before. So today we are applying it in real maneuvers. And showing how outside references fit naturally into the established step in ETCA. That's where everything starts. Does it make sense? Okay. And by the end of today, you should be able to take ETCA combined with outside visual references and apply it to four basic maneuvers: straight and lever turns, climbs, and descents. The goal is not perfection. The goal is a smoother control, better stability, and a scan that actually works in real flight. I'm also going to walk you through how to scan in real time, like what to look at first and when to transition inside, and how to use your outside picture together with your instruments. Sure. Because flying well is not about like staring at gauges or numbers. It's about managing both, like outside and inside, in the right order. Yeah. Does it make sense, right? Okay, then let's move on. Yeah. Before we start, first, let's talk a little bit about what you can actually expect when you use ETCA. Because here's the main problem ETCA solves. Most student pilots don't really have an order. Just so they fix the altitude, then heading drifts, then they fix heading, then airspeed changes, and now they're stuck reacting. That's what I mean by chasing the airplane. And the worst part is you end up working way harder than you need to, because instead of flying with a plan, you're just constantly putting out little fires. And that's exactly why ETCA is so useful. It gives you a simple order, so you stay organized and ahead of the airplane. Okay. Also, here's the one quick clarification in case. ETCA does not mean you should stare at the instruments the entire flight. As a private pilot flying VFR, your eyes should be outside most of the time. And when I say 80% on the attitude indicator in the scanning, what I really mean is, especially for VFR flying, is 80% on your attitude reference. So, well, if it's instrument flying, that reference is the attitude indicator inside the cockpit, sure. But in VFR flying, we shift that reference outside. Okay. So which means the windshield becomes your primary attitude indicator. Okay. So you're flying mostly by the outside picture, and then you glance inside to confirm that what you're seeing matches the instruments. So the training goal is this: fly the airplane outside first and match it with the attitude indicator and scan your performance instruments. That's how, and make small corrections. Then that's how you build a real pilot scan professionally. Okay? Good. And in this part, I just wanted to review ETCA again, because today I want to add one important thing to the E step. So ETCA is basically four steps, right? So E is establish. This is just where you set the airplane first, mainly with your pitch, bank, and power. If you're turning, this is also where bank comes in. And starting today, we are also going to include outside visual reference in this step, because this is the best time to build a habit. In fact, during training, some instructors will actually place a small reference mark on the windshield. So, yeah, usually near the center of your forward view, slightly above the glare shield line or aligned with your top of the standby magnetic compass, like here. So, that becomes your number one reference point. Well, we'll come back to that reference point soon because it's the key to flying smoothly while keeping your eyes outside. And in this step, we are also going to spend a lot of time training you match your inside attitude indicator with your outside attitude picture. Yeah. And don't worry, this is not hard. And once you fly it even once, you'll start to feel what I'm saying. And T stands for trim. Yeah, trim is just to remove control pressure. So you're not fighting the airplane the whole time. And C stands for cross check. So this is where you verify your performance instruments like airspeed, air altitude, VSI, heading, and coordination. And A is adjust. So and this is where you make small corrections based on what you saw in the cross check. And after you adjust, you always go right back to the trim again, then cross check again, and continue repeat. Because ETCA isn't one-time action, it's continuous. So remember, set it, trim it, verify it, fix it, and repeat the cycle. Okay? Great. Here's a quick review of what we mean by control instruments and performance instruments now. Control instruments now are what we directly set to control the airplane, right? And here's an attitude indicator for pitch and bank. And remember, you always want to cross-check between the inside instruments and your outside attitude picture now, okay? And power, which is RPM, yeah, RPM in Cessna 172. In G1000, RPM is over here. Now, performance instruments are still the same, yeah. Airspeed indicator, altimeter, vertical speed indicator, head indicator, and turn coordinator. So the main idea is simple. Control instruments are what you set, and performance instruments are what you verify. That's all you need for this part. Okay. Let's move to the next one then. So, when you cross-check, you are not just staring at exact numbers, actually. You're checking trend first. And of course, while still keeping your main picture outside, right here. And you're asking things like, is the airspeed building or bleeding off? Is altitude drifting up and down, up or down? And is the VSI confirming that? Is heading staying stable? And are you coordinated now, right? And that's the kind of scan you want. But of course, you still have target numbers, like climbing at a target speed such as 72 knots, or maintaining altitude within a small tolerance in level flight, right? So the trend, the trend tells you what's happening only, and the target numbers help you keep it right where it needs to be. So what I mean is this: when you're climbing at 72 knots, you're not staring at the airspeed trying to fly the number. If you set the correct pitch attitude using both the attitude indicator and your outside picture and trim it properly, the airspeed should naturally settle around 72 knots. So the airspeed indicator is mostly there to confirm you're on target, not to be the instrument you chase. And that's why it feels like you are watching the airspeed while you set the pitch. Because airspeed will always respond to pitch. So you're not using the airspeed indicator to control the airplane. You're using it as feedback to confirm whether your pitch is correct. Okay. And the trend matters too. So if the airspeed is charging quickly, you correct sooner. And if it's changing slowly, you make smaller adjustments then. Does that make sense? Right? Okay, let's move on. Alright, here's the main part today. So, you're a private pilot flying VFR. So, your primary reference is outside. And the goal is to build such a strong outside picture that the windshield becomes your attitude indicator. So throughout this lesson, I will use one term a lot, which is your number one reference point. That simply means a consistent visual relationship between the airplane and the horizon. Okay. Some instructors use a small marker dot during training. Well, that's fine. Well, the idea is simple, just to keep the point consistent, learn where the horizon sits related to it, and then use your instruments to confirm and refine it. So that's the balance. And now in the Cessna 172, you'll often hear like align the horizon with the top of the magnetic compass for the straight and level flight, right? And usually they're gonna draw the marker over here. Well, for beginners, that's okay. Yeah, actually. Well, it's centered and easy to reference, but well, I would say it's not absolute because your side picture changes with seat height, posture, and sitting position. So if you rely only on the point aligning with the compass, you might get confused later. So here's the better method. So first, establish a straight level flight with correct power, proper trim, and stable altitude. Then check your attitude indicator and confirm it. Next, look outside and notice where the horizon sits on your windshield. And memorize the outside side picture either by creating an imaginary reference point or by building a strong mental picture. And you can also use the compass area as a training aid, of course, but remember the marker is just a tool, so the airplane's attitude is the truth. Okay, and this connects directly to ETCA. In the establish step, well, you set pitch, bank, and power. But in VF for flying, pitch starts with the outside picture first. Okay, outside picture first, then you confirm with the attitude indicator, and verify it with your performance instruments. Okay, that's professional flying. Okay, so this one first, second, and third for checking, cross-checking with your performance instruments, right? Yeah, that's a professional flying. And outside first, instruments supporting the picture. So establish, trim, cross-check, adjust. And it all begins with the picture. Okay. If you can consistently reproduce that side picture, you're no longer chasing the airplane, actually. You're flying intentionally, right? All right, we are going to pause right here. And in the next video, we'll take this upgraded ETCA and apply it directly to the 4 Beijing maneuvers. Okay, so well, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Thank you.